It's time to wake up. Halloween is about to start with lots of stories about ghouls being torn apart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with the bull, you might get the shoots. It's time for morning. It's morning with Bill and Joe. It's time for morning. It's gonna be a trick or treat show. It's Bill and Joe. It's Bill and Joe.
Hello and welcome back to Mornin. I'm Joe.
And I am Charles here, and this is TMZ.
Oh, I know what you've been doing all weekend at your parents' house.
Any actual TMZer knows that while reruns are on the weekends, you really need to get it live day of, and then therefore Saturday and Sunday episodes are really pointless.
Wow, you really are a true avid watcher, aren't you?
I watch pretty much every day. I mean, I don't have a lot going on in my life, Joe.
Fair. For those who are just listening, you are missing Bill's background today. It appears he is in a suburban basement.
Oh, God, I wish that was full time. I mean, I am in a suburban basement, but I just wish this is more of a regular location. Yep, back at my parents' place, not to brag. Maybe I'm preparing myself for the inevitable, huh?
I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed. Well, there's a lot for you to be ashamed of. But I don't think there's anything wrong with living it with your parents. That's honestly, so many people are doing it these days.
We need more women like you. Because there's a huge contingent of the fair sex, I would say, that is not a big fan of dating dudes who live with their folks.
Yeah, but you aren't dating anyone.
Valid. By the way, look what my mom has for me.
Bill is holding up a bee mug.
A little akin to our old Bill and Joe mugs. There's yours in the background right there. So
a mug with the letter B. I have one with the letter J. I don't know if it's in the frame. Yeah, does it taste better in that mug?
Yes. My mom's coffee always tastes better, so there's that as well.
Yeah, right. There's something about the things that your parents would do. Maybe it's just the comfort of growing up with them or the care they take. But it's fair to say that my mother's Sanka is not
That's
as
really
good.
saying something.
Yeah, I grew up with coffee crystals.
I grew up with crystal meth. Similar. Explains a lot.
Yeah, you were upper middle class, weren't you, Bill?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could afford the blue stuff. Well, all right. I have a lot of questions. Because we're getting down to crunch time here. I believe the premiere begins soon, right? For Walden?
Okay, so
we have to announce the dates, too.
Yeah, the off-Broadway play I am doing, Walden, written by Amy Berryman, is at Second Stage's off-Broadway theater in New York City. We are currently in previews. I think we just finished preview number 14 or 15. But the show opens on November 7th. That's opening night. And what that means is no more changes. So over the past, week, 2 weeks, we have another week where we can change the script, we can change lighting cues, blocking, what have you. But once we open, it's set and reviewers come and see it and give their opinions.
Obviously, you have to get permission from the author to change anything, correct?
She's in rehearsals.
Okay.
So
I'm assuming that.
She's the one making the changes.
Interesting.
And so, it's about listening to audience response during preview, seeing if there's certain things that they need a little more clarity on, better ways to tell the story. When you're involved in a project for so long, you're so close to it that sometimes you can't maybe see what fresh eyes might be seeing. So, yeah, it's really been a fascinating process because as the understudy, I am watching these actors perform every day. And I'm watching their performances grow. I'm watching them settle into things and find things in performance that creates better storytelling. But yeah, so it's just I've been very fortunate to be around such really great talent.
Does it ever get boring? I can only watch things 3 times in a row before I want to put a gun in my head, no matter how good they are.
Oh, I mean, I just have such a Herculean effort, a huge task to, study 2 roles. So on one show, I'll watch one track. On another show, I'll watch another track. So I constantly have stuff to keep my eye on. But it's a good thing I have been because I will be performing.
Yes.
So
a lot, by the way.
Yeah, as an understudy, it varies by theater and by contract. Some people have a guaranteed date that they'll perform, others don't. Sometimes you find out 2 hours beforehand. I found out recently that I will be performing in November, and November 10th, and then the 19th through 21st. So it's 5 total performances. Obviously, it's because of another obligation for one of the actresses. So I have some time to prepare, but I'm excited. I will be going on.
It's great. Ahead of time. It's a good amount of dates, and who knows, there might end up being more.
I mean, we'll see. There might, I don't know. Who knows? Everyone's trying to stay really healthy, and I by no means want to be thrown into a situation chaotically, but hey, it's my job, so.
Yeah, that's why you're studying both of them. Oh, that's really exciting. And I think I asked you this before, but of course I'm always interested in wardrobe. This will not be an astronaut type wardrobe, though. Since they're both back on Earth, they'll be wearing normal, kind of futuristic Earth things.
Yeah, sure. So there's still the sci-fi element since this play takes place in the future, but a lot of it takes place. 2 of the characters are essentially, I don't want to call them homesteaders, but it's this idea of they live in wilderness. There's nothing too futuristic about their wardrobe. It's really just kind of like what you'd see if someone working on a farm or something.
So you stop shaving your legs.
Oh my God. I actually thought about that. If they were like, could you not shave your armpits? I'd be like, I'm sorry. I have to. I have to. It grosses me out. I have to live with me. I have to live with these armpits. Let's draw some on for the performance.
Oh my God. What if they gave you armpit merkins?
That would be. I feel like that's easier to sweat off,
Yeah, well.
I would just have a flying armpit wig happening.
And that for budget reasons, those armpit wigs have been used for other types of nude scenes.
For sure.
They probably repurpose.
Yeah.
Just a nice little visual there for you.
But no, I have not been asked to do any sort of body maintenance.
Non-grooming, yes. Wow. I can't wait. I've already got a ticket.
Speaking of a lifelike performance, it's a woolly watch.
Oh, wait.
I don't know. You love woolly mammoths, and it's an opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, woolly watch, people. All I want before I leave this terra firma is to see a hairy elephant. And I'm still alive only for that reason. In 2028, it goes, if all goes according to plan. By the way, let's just examine that. 2028. I hope I can last that long. A 6'5" narcoleptic scientist with a bushy white beard will be resurrecting the first living woolly mammoth in 4,000 years.
Wait. Can you say that sentence again?
A 6'5" narcoleptic scientist with a bushy white beard.
I'm sorry. Do we trust a narcoleptic scientist?
Well, he falls asleep a lot. I mean, it's why he doesn't work on living things, Joe. Because that could be problematic during surgery.
Why is that in the article? Why is that a detail we should know?
It might explain it by who wrote this article. Let's see. I thought it painted a lovely picture. The Times.
Oh boy, they just need to up their word count. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It's forking paths. It's a science thing. I was reading another.
Oh, well.
So, forking paths. They love those little idiosyncratic
They sure
descriptions.
do.
In 4,000 years, and that mammoth, if the science works, may soon be lumbering in all its hairy glory across the frozen plains of North Dakota. So it's going to be in America. About 15 years ago, a brilliant scientist by the name of Beth Shapiro was in a Canadian Yukon, nearly 2,000 miles northwest of Vancouver, extracting bones from the permafrost. I love saying that word. She cared about something more valuable than her prehistoric DNA, locked away in bones, impeccably preserved in the frozen earth. That means, and because they're in the permafrost, that means they're going to be, quote, really well preserved. That's key for getting good DNA that we can then therefore clone. In 2015, Shapiro wrote How to Clone a Mammoth, a tantalizing examination of how modern scientific breakthroughs are taking the fiction out of science fiction. She chronicled how researchers were bringing human ingenuity to the cusp of a task previously imagined only for God's resurrection. I said tusk. That word was actually task. She's the chief scientist for a well-funded cutting-edge startup called Colossal Biosciences, the brainchild of Harvard's genomics wizard George Church. He's the bushy here. The 6'5" narcoleptic, and Ben Lamb, a serial entrepreneur. So he's got to get one of those rich guys working on the most ambitious project of his life. And Lamb, who has raised hundreds of $millions on this flagship idea, that crazy harebrained scenario of using elephants to give birth to mammoths. Because Asian elephants shared a common ancestor with woolly mammoths several million years ago, there's a 99% overlap of their genome. Their return could regenerate a lost ecosystem, turning the wastelands into a wildlife haven, and thousands of miles away from those hairy herds, the science used to create these enormous beasts is being used to protect vulnerable species from extinction to save human lives. I will spare you the rest.
Wait, I have a question about that.
Yes.
So somehow they're saying bringing woolies back will help save humanity?
To a certain extent, yes, because their overall presence in certain areas that have permafrost and stuff like that, it sort of like tills the land, breaks over areas that need to be broken over. I'm not explaining it well.
But also, like, they are going to need resources. I'm sure they create methane, right, by farting.
Oh,
so,
Joe, why does your mind always go there?
No, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like they might end up killing us, or they'll at least step on us.
They'll step on us. If anyone's going to get stepped on by a mammoth, it would be you.
I'm so tiny.
All right, a good example would be in 1995 when I lived in Montana, don't you know? Gray wolves were reintroduced to the Yellowstone National Park, and it triggered an unexpected trophic cascade in which the entire ecosystem adjusted abruptly due to this comparatively small change. And by adjusted, it did so in a good way. For starters, way too many elk, deer, that whole bit. They're eating too many things they shouldn't be eating. The wolves come back and bring back balance that was long since taken away. Basically, mammoths are going to be a little bit like that. But Joe, they also think that perhaps with the mammoth might come the dodo bird, another favorite of mine as a kid. Poor thing couldn't fly, not that smart, and was easily killed off by early settlers. So this is all really exciting. Aside from being worried about being stepped on, what else is your thoughts?
Oh, God. Do we know what they sound like?
I would assume a lot like an elephant.
Because that's got to get annoying, right?
You seem to be under the misconception that this thing is going to be all over Astoria. I think really, again, they'll probably be relegated to a very small area in North Dakota.
Yeah, until you're overrun by them. How horny are they? Like, there's so much we don't know about the woolly because they haven't been here for so long. Also,
it's exciting.
I feel like any movie we've ever seen about anything ever being cloned, something goes a little haywire and they are somehow bigger and stronger and more dangerous than their predecessors.
Spoken like someone whose husband does a Jeff Goldblum impression too much.
Yeah.
And you're hearing all of that anti-mammoth dogma from those sexy lips, and you're missing the point. This is not only going to be good for us, Bill's going to be happy.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you prepared for influencers taking photos, half-naked photos, in front of these woolies and then posting an inspirational quote? I'm not prepared.
No one says for you that you have to look at it, not to mention the fact that, I might be one of those influencers. Maybe I'll actually become an influencer and do the half-naked poses.
Okay, that I support.
In front of the mammoth. Again, she just wants me to get stepped on. Well, from horny mammoths, unless you have any final cloning things that haven't existed in a long time thoughts.
I've said my piece.
Are you really? Have you? Did you really say anything?
I've said a piece of my piece.
There you go. And you'll see more of my piece right in front of a hairy elephant as soon as they're cloned. Hey, I gotta promote my upcoming Instagram account. From horny mammoths to horny mamas. It's better than what Joe would do. Guys, we haven't talked about Nicole Kidman in a while. And also, the actress, 57, so it's the Daily Mail, which also does the ages almost as well as Page Six, wrapped her arms around the country singer, her country singer husband, Keith Urban, also 57. That's nice that they both match.
That is nice.
While posing backstage for photos at a benefit concert in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that night comes out several days after she admitted that she was so turned on when shooting in the erotic drama Baby Girl that at one point she had to pause filming. Kidman stars in the upcoming erotic movie, I love that phrase, opposite the Iron Claw star Harris Dickinson, 28. Yeah. The near 30-year age gap makes him younger than her two eldest children, Bella at 31 and Connor 29, who she adopted with ex-husband Tom Cruise, 62. The film sees her play a high-powered married company boss named Rami, who falls for Samuel Dickinson, a kinky young intern. Is there any other kind? In a revealing new interview, Kidman said that performing the scenes with Harrison and Antonio Banderas, 64, as her husband Jacob was often too much to cope with. There was an enormous amount of sharing and trust and then frustration, mate. She may not have said mate. It's like, don't touch me. There were times when they were shooting when I was like, I don't want to orgasm anymore. What kind of movie is this? It was so present all the time. For me, it was almost like a burnout, the actress added. Director Helena Regine, what a name, was inspired by Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas's sexual thriller Basic Instinct, and by hearing about a woman who had never experienced sexual pleasure during her 25-year marriage. What does that have to do with movies?
That might have to do with the plot of this. Maybe.
Interesting. Antonio Banderas, he must have felt bad about being the guy responsible for that. Yeah, so that is, I have to tell you, the thing that caught my interest with this story is this is almost a first for me, because unless we're talking hardcore porn versus mainstream movies, name another time you've heard an actor say anything but what people don't understand is how clinical sex scenes are. There's a lot of people in the room. It's very cold. There's nothing sexy about it. That is the cliche when talking about sex scenes. This is something different.
But see, her quote in this article is really misleading, because she just says orgasm, which if you're an actress who is experiencing these erotic sort of situations, the character will be orgasming. I don't know if she's saying acting that way is really exhausting or what. It's like if someone were to say, yeah, when I was murdering my father in that movie, Ooh, that was exhausting. Well, you didn't actually
Interesting.
murder anyone. So I think that this is really just clickbait to get people talking about it. And I really don't think there was anything like actually pornographic happening on this set. I think it was probably really overwhelming because to have to be that vulnerable and be acting that way for so long has to be exhausting. I don't know.
Damn it. They seem to be really convinced that she was actually having orgasms. I mean, you're right. It is clickbait. And yeah, it's going to get butts in the seats, perhaps. But I hope you're wrong. I hope that
What I think
I've
is,
got to do more research.
what I think is more interesting is like, at first I was thinking, why does Nicole Kidman want to do this? You know, she is an A-list celebrity. She's been doing so much stuff. She's getting up there in age. And then I was like, she's getting up there in age.
You cynical,
You know,
albeit accurate.
I think it's like as soon as you're reminded that you're entering that next phase in life where people might not see you as a sexy sort of, sex symbol, you want to be like, I still got it. So I think that might have had something to do with her choosing this role. Although, again, haven't seen the film yet. I didn't get a preview, which is really shitty, producers. It might have some real substance to it. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like I'm now in my mid to late 30s. I'm still in my mid 30s. And, people don't come up to me in bars anymore. Not that they ever really did, because I give off incredible stank face, but
It's very true. Yeah.
it is now to the point where I am left alone, which is the goal. But,
I was going to say, is this not win-win?
No, but it's like at some point when women are getting older, we want to feel like we still got it, you know?
I don't necessarily know if you need to, considering you're closer to the age of the guy than Nicole Kidman. I don't necessarily know if you need to start thinking that way, but I will say this: I don't know if you watched the trailer. As one who just recently did see with my parents, there's graphic scenes in this. People don't watch it with your parents. Was it Perfect Couple? This much more so, and I don't know when one was filmed versus the other, and perhaps it's because of her character. But if you watch the trailer, they really highlight questionable questionable plastic surgery options on her face.
Oh.
Like the lips and everything. It just looks like she's starting to get to that uncanny territory where she's had a little too much done, and you don't really see that in Perfect Couple. I'm sure maybe that was deliberate to like highlight the age difference, but yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where because he's like an intern, she in the bedroom, she wants him to be in control just so that the roles are different. So it's a lot of that in the trailer. And you kind of see where it's all going. Like her decisions are going to end up destroying her family life. And
Yeah.
for all we know, it could just be a complete rehash of Fatal Attraction.
Yeah. And I ask myself daily, do we need a second Fatal Attraction?
I can think of a lot of men that would think the same thing too. But this is also a big trend. Older women, younger men, just all over the place. This trend. Yeah. A lot of movies out like that.
But what's your theory on that, Bill? Why is it that older men and younger women, older women and younger men, why that is such a thing?
More women are in positions of power, getting promoted, doing better than men, making more money. More of them are graduating college. This is like the bold new world that we're in, I'm hoping.
I guess, and maybe in terms of control, like you said, the women want that.
Wait, why are you asking me? You're the chick.
I don't know, but I'm not old.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. See, for me, no one will watch a movie where the older woman's going after me because she really, really, really have to be old. And
what about like Meryl Streep and you?
She's already got Martin Short.
Fair.
Technically, I think that they just do that for promoting the show, frankly. But yeah, that's. I mean, I would assume this is a good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Sure. I like seeing women making money. Anyways, she's not taking my roles, so
there you
go after it, Nicole Kidman. Hey, but speaking of generations, Gen Z girls. So those are the ones younger than me.
Ugh.
Okay, where is this from? What article? This is from the New York Post. Very reliable, serious news. The news we need.
Mm.
Gen Z.
I think that's their tagline. The news you
The
need.
news we need. It should be. That's a great tagline. Gen Z clean girls are choosing trendy skincare routines over sex. Someone saying, my boyfriend gets so annoyed. Sacrificing a bit of romance in the pursuit of hotness is worth it, enthusiasts say, living by the mantra that going to bed uglier means they'll wake up hotter. A 24-year-old named Daisy
This sounds like something you would do.
Has a non-negotiable beauty routine, saying, as soon as we're done having sex, her and her boyfriend, I have to run to the bathroom and spend a minimum of 20 minutes double cleansing my face and applying my serums and moisturizer. By the time I'm done, my boyfriend is asleep and there is no more opportunity for cuddling, she said, adding that her process often sparks an argument the next morning. I don't believe that.
That he wants to cuddle more?
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think he's thrilled to get an extra 20 minutes of sleep.
Or this is not the actual story. She's doing all of this and they don't, because that's what I was led to believe with the intro, that she's just doing all this stuff and they're not having sex, period.
Yeah.
Is she like trying to make herself sound more interesting?
Well, she says there's no moment of falling asleep together straight away in a romantic way. See, that's the issue. When people are thinking of like a movie scene, a Nicole Kidman movie where it's like, oh, we just had sex and we cuddle, my arm is draped on his chest and we both fall asleep together. That's not reality. No one does that. So like, yeah, of course, what you're explaining is like a normal relationship. For some, becoming beautiful is seen as more important than having sex and falling in love because beauty is seen as the gateway to attraction. So strange. Some people are saying
this is a made-up thing. This is a made-up thing by the Post.
Yeah, some are saying they don't want to do sleepovers at a guy's place because they don't know if the pillowcases are clean, and God forbid that touches their precious skin. They're going to break out. They also don't want to spend the night at a guy's house because they have so many beauty products and they don't want to bring it all with them, but they have a routine for their skin.
So one day without the routine is not going to turn you into an old hag.
Exactly. I mean, if you're concerned about that, there's probably no helping you. Like a few topical potions are not going to slap the ugly off your face.
Potions.
That's rude. I might edit that out.
No. Some people are ugly, Joe. That's not, there's nothing wrong with that. One
woman named Holly, not a real name. Her name has been changed. I wonder why she didn't want to use her real first name.
Yeah.
She says, it feels like a new form of intimacy, revealing your nightly routine. They still found me attractive at what I felt was my most self-conscious, least sexy. Listen, to a certain point, I get it. In a new relationship, you get up really early in the morning, you brush your teeth so you don't have like the morning breath, and you go, or you mouthwash, and then you lay back down, or maybe you give your hair a brush or something, or you're wearing the cute pajamas instead of your free t-shirt that has a bank name on it, you know? But eventually you stop that, not because you're lazy or whatever. You just should be so happy with your partner and so confident in yourself that it doesn't matter. Like morning breath is now like it's not a big deal. Douglas breathes in my face all the time, and it's like, okay, it's breath, you know?
Or date someone like me who has really no sense of smell. So
honestly,
never have to worry about it again. That's
if
why
you
I was
ever
always,
have a dating profile, Bill, you got to put that on there.
I seriously, I mean, that's why I was always worried at the height of COVID. I'm like, I could have it, I don't know, because I can't smell shit. Well, that's one of the things I can't smell. Yeah. So I'm starting to think, despite living with my parents, that I'm a catch, ladies. But so I don't think guys give a shit about a giant skincare routine. Who cares? Like, how is that? It's not sexy, but it's not unsexy either. It's just like it inspires zero feeling one way or the other.
Well, something I know, Bill, in a beauty routine that you find wildly disturbing is the self-tanner.
Yes. Well, I have personal experience with it. Yes. Talk about that's what you got to worry about sheet wise.
Yeah.
I don't care how clean they are. It's whether or not you want to look like the orange shroud of Turin the next morning with the self tanner. Although I remember you always telling me that that should that have happened with somebody that I used to date, that they had they did a really cheap self tanner or they didn't do it correctly because that's not supposed to happen, right?
It's not supposed to happen unless you are a big sweater when you sleep. That's the only time I'll find, like, if I self-tan, that's the only time I'll find it on the sheets is if I,
Okay.
like, had a sweaty evening, like, in the summers. Then you might see, like, where your knee was or, like, your hand.
I'm against self tanner, but other than that, the rest of it, I don't think guys would care about. Unless, do they? I don't see what's gross about it. It's just like moisturizer and stuff like that. Who cares?
Yeah. You know what's so funny? And I don't know if anyone actually does this, but you know, in movies, in the scene where the couple is like climbing into the bed and the woman's in her little nightie and she always has a thing of moisturizer. She like climbs into bed and then she's always just like going like
Yeah.
this
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
on
yeah.
her knees and
Mhm.
her feet. And it's like, okay, good night.
Yeah.
Now, I definitely put on hand lotion before I go to sleep, but like this
Maybe I
ritual of
should.
like lotioning while you're sitting in bed is just so strange. I don't know. I say do whatever you want. The guys don't care, like you said.
They're just happy to
Um,
be there. Yeah.
but really, don't spend too much money on products. I
Well,
guess
but
that would be
even
my PSA.
what is your most time consuming and least favorite part of the maintenance that you are otherwise low at?
Showering.
That's true.
You know this about me. I
Not a
absolutely
fan. Not a fan.
hate it. And when I have to wash my hair, even worse, because it's not the act of the water. It's just the act of the then being wet. It's the getting out of the shower. It is the toweling off. It is the lotioning. It is the drying of the hair. It's like all the steps you have to do after you shower. If I just went in and could then go about my day easy breezy like a dude, maybe like I wouldn't mind as much.
Yeah, I do not feel about showers the way that you do, believe it or not. I see that surprises people, I think, as well. Well, look, we've learned a little bit more about the upkeep that is Joe. I'm glad to see that you're relatively low maintenance. But I also don't believe that this to be a true story. This is what we call a fake trend.
Mm.
I need to start getting better at these things. The only time that I ever came up with a fake trend was when I was working at Maxim Online and I had to generate a certain amount of like very brief, Gawker like stories per day. And there always had to be a health aspect. And I was running out of stuff. And I'm like, when I was young, there were pegboards at gyms and gymnasiums during PE, and I don't see them anymore. I'm sure it's a safety thing. I'm going to pretend that there is a trend to do pegboards again. And you probably don't even remember what they are, Joe, but it was when these little wooden things, and you
I
put them on the
remember.
wall. Yeah, yeah. And they don't do them anymore. I'm sure it's an insurance thing, why every, um, park for kids is all rubber because I don't want anyone to get hurt. And then I just interviewed a couple people that sold them and like tried to get them to say that it was on the upswing. And then I was talking with people about what a great workout is. And I just sort of presented it as this hot new trend when indeed it wasn't, that it was making a comeback. Um, but there's money to be made in the fake trends. So I congratulate any person that came up with this non-trend about sacrificing love for lotion. Oh, great opener, Bill.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, gosh, now I'm just thinking about gym class and like all the things that you had to do that seemed strange, specifically in the presidential fitness test.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember the flexibility test? You would put your legs out and like sort of to a block, okay? And then you had to reach your hands forward. It was like a hamstring stretch. And there was a ruler to see how far you could stretch.
Do we do that? I might be too old for that one.
And that feels really unnecessary. Sure, flexibility is important, but also making someone stretch further than their body will allow them is really dangerous. I mean, really, all of it is.
Yeah, you can pull something. Did you have to do the rope?
The rope, I actually don't know if the girls did the rope, which
So
feels
sexist.
problematic.
sexist.
We had to do the pull up, which I could not do. Yeah, there was a lot I couldn't do, which it made me feel really bad. My competitive nature was there even as a child. And
Well, they should, because of the back brace. They shouldn't have let you do it.
well, I wasn't doing it with a back brace on.
But I thought you had to wear it until like noon. I hate that I know that.
Yeah, I took it off for gym class. If I had gym class in the
Okay.
morning, and then I went to the nurse and she put it back on me.
Oh,
Yeah. But also, you're given this test for your fitness at any point in gym class during the semester. Were we working on pull-ups? No. Were we
yeah.
doing anything to advance our flexibility or any of this? No, we're throwing dodgeballs at each other.
I used to you never practiced when I was a kid and that we would do some of this stuff. I was terrible at pull-ups because to your point, we were never given the homework assignment of so many pull-ups. And it really is like anything else. Practice makes perfect. But when I actually used to go to the gym a lot more, kind of COVID killed that. I got up to about 16, 17, which isn't too shabby. But I've been recently trying to get back into pull-ups. I can barely do 10. It goes away like that.
Yeah. The only good thing that gym class did for me was discover my scoliosis.
Wait, you didn't know you had it until gym?
No, I guess every school is different, but during gym class one day in middle school, we had to go into the locker rooms and the nurse was there and we had to do like a diver stance, like a bend over diver pose so she could look at the curvature of our spines.
We never did this.
Yeah, and I got a letter sent home that my spine didn't look super straight and that I should probably go to my doctor about it. Which, by the way, why the doctor isn't checking for that at your
No
physicals,
kidding. Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's how they discovered it. Thank you to my nurse. Don't remember her name.
See, but this is interesting to me because so what basically you're saying is were you to have never been discovered you could have just still lived your life. I mean, it wasn't hurting you or anything. Or if like later in life, if you don't fix scoliosis, it can get bad.
Yeah.
Is it one of
So
those things?
when they find it young, the whole point is you're still growing, right? This was when I was 11. So as you're growing, there's opportunity then for this spine to continue its own curvature growth. So when they found mine, it was at 31% curvature. At 35%, they recommend surgery because you will have pain. Like it will be problematic as you continue to grow and become an adult. So
Okay.
they put you in the brace to prevent it from the curvature
Fascinating.
growing as you get taller.
Very interesting. Well, remember, like in one of the great archaeological finds of any time, they randomly, on the first day of digging, after suspecting that Richard III was buried in this parking lot after unceremoniously having an end to his reign by being destroyed in the name of a battle, I forget which one. They found him on the first day of digging at this parking lot and confirmed that indeed, much like in Richard III from Shakespeare, he did indeed have scoliosis via the spine that they found. So you're much like royalty.
Yeah, I'm actually curious how many people have scoliosis. I know there's always like minor deviations, right, in a straight spine, but
I know a lot of people that have it.
right?
I remember we randomly found out Karen Margolis had it when she was on one time.
Yeah.
And she's not the only one. I think haven't we had like several people on Morning that like randomly you'll mention your back brace? They're like, oh, I had scoliosis. Like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a unifier, really.
Mm. Let's start a help group, a support group, I should say.
But honestly,
support group.
I came across TikTok, like a brace talk with like these kids who have scoliosis and have to wear back braces. And It's actually so nice, and it's like super
Aw.
uplifting, and it's everyone like, trying to, I don't know, feel better about themselves. And I sort of wish I had that when I was that
Yeah.
age. So it is sort of nice because then because even though I'm now hearing about all these people who had it later in life, when you're a kid in your school and you're the only one with a back brace, you're like, I'm weird. There's no one
Oh,
like
totally.
me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. But see, I think the flip side of that coin is and then this is an old man complaint, but I believe it to be true. The fact that there are so many outlets out there to make everyone feel good about anything they're going through, it's just we're going to be even bigger pussies in the next generation.
Mm.
There needs to be some crossing of the Rubicon. There needs to be some hardships. There needs to be some stuff that only you can figure out and only you can go through. And when you realize you're part of a community, no matter what issue you've got, you are going to have some real thin skin, if not a crooked back.
Yeah, I get your point, but I also think that
Condescending.
there's so many more avenues for bullying though now. So,
True. Yeah, that's true too. If you're
yeah.
looking for someone to bully, welcome to the World Wide Web. You'll find them.
Just go to the comments section in the scoliosis support
Yeah.
group page.
I guess it's there. It serves two purposes.
Hey, speaking of terrifying,
Yes.
what are you doing for Halloween? Do you have any plans? Are you dressing up? Are you gonna be at your
I
parents' house?
I no, I'm gonna go back. Actually, speaking, I'm gonna go back tomorrow. But I went to a Halloween party this weekend, and that's enough for me. But no, I'm not going to be going out and getting some treats. How about yourself, Joe? I mean,
Wait,
I think you've admitted that would go out until college to get candy, which
yeah,
is
in college I did it. Now I'm an
wow.
adult. I'll buy the candy I want. Uh, but wait, I'm gonna insert a picture here of you at this Halloween party. This is a costume I know you have worn before,
hmm
and you are the mayor from Jaws.
God bless you. I had to explain this costume to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, you've just worn it several times on the show before, so I know what it is.
Oh yeah, I know you know what it is, but I even had a little shark in my pocket to sort of bring the point home, but yeah, no one got it. But I was able to do a lot of quotes. And my brother Win is one of the Tannenbaums in the Royal Tannenbaums, which is essentially how he dresses anyway. More people got him than they got my costume.
I also saw a picture of Alfred and his
Mm-hmm.
little family and young Michael, is it? Their new
Yes.
baby? As Tony Soprano. I'm
Mm-hmm.
obsessed. I love when babies are dressed as Tony Soprano. It's my favorite. I might insert a picture if I'm allowed.
Oh, you are absolutely allowed, of
All right.
course. Thank you for giving Michael a plug. Yeah, talk about an upcoming influencer. It'll just be Tony Soprano stuff. But yeah, they were very proud of that one. Although he told my mom that this was them as the Munsters, and she believed it. I'm like, Mom, how does any of this look like the Munsters?
Yeah.
I guess Alfred does have a giant head, but um, yeah, it's a lot, especially in Jersey. So I guess I don't need to tell you.
Yeah. Well,
A lot of
usually I would
adults
go
dressing up.
to my sister's. She hosts like a Halloween gathering every year, but I will be
You're
at the
in.
theater.
You will be at the theater. I assume you're not doing anything Halloween related as a
Well, I
result, huh?
wasn't going to, but the theater is freezing, especially in the morning when we rehearse. So I'm gonna be a bear again. Bare
I knew it.
minimum.
I knew you were going to say, yeah.
I have a really warm, comfortable, lovely bear onesie that was a gift from one of you. I'm sorry I can't remember which one of you sent it. Do you remember, Phil?
I've got I think I still have the letter because I a hoarder. We'll give him a shout out on the next one. I've got to look it up. I'm sorry, I just haven't, and I forget things.
Yeah, I can't remember who sent it, but we appreciate you. And I mean, a
Mhm.
year later, I'm going to get more use out of it. Uh,
Oh, I'll just be wearing it when it gets colder. I have
yeah,
nothing
that
Halloween
too.
related. Yeah.
All right. I just saw Woman of the Hour, which
Mm.
is Anna Kendrick's, I believe, directorial debut. She also stars in this movie. And it is about, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast, a serial killer who was on the dating game or whatever dating show back in the 70s. He won and thankfully didn't kill the woman who
Spoiler.
was on the show. Well, this is real life. This is a real story. But yeah, really fascinating story. It's a good film. It's short. It's like an hour and a half, which like you don't see anymore these days.
That is nice.
Pretty good. I thought they could have done more with Anna Kendrick's hair. It takes place in the 70s and they did not feather her hair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, add it to your list. All right. Any last minute plugs, promotions, Bill?
Yeah. If you're in town November 1st, guys, just go on the Bowery Boys walks, Turtle Bay tour. You know, we need the people. We need the people on the thing. It's no good if it's just me talking to myself. All right? You know, that's the best way to look at it.
Otherwise, it's just a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's just it's just my future in Times Square. Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your suburban vacation.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching, listening, subscribing, supporting. Follow us on social media at Mornin, Bill, and Joe. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
I'm sure glad that's over.
That's all for this episode of Mornin with Bill and Joanne.
I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts.
Shut up, Bill.
Subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah, I wasn't listening either.
Very nice, Joanne. Touché.
For videos of this and other episodes, go to @Mornin, Bill, and Joe on YouTube.
Bill, put the sword down.
Run, Joanne, run!
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We would do it for you. Okay, that's a lie.
I never liked your show.
Sorry, wasn't listening. See ya.